Hi, everybody. My name is Michael Zornick, and today is Monday, October 21st, 2019. This is a developer diary. It is for a project I'm working on called Clubhouse Hosting. It is the first dev diary for this project. And so, the purpose of these is a couple fold. One, for people who are interested in the product, particularly people who are interested in the development of the product and the development process. And then myself, just as kind of a history and something to kind of keep track of my thought process when I was making decisions and things. But so this is the first one. So I'll do a couple preliminary things. First, a little bit of introduction for those who don't know me. As I said, my name is Michael Zornick. I'm from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. I'm a career application software developer. When I finished college, I started as a web developer doing PHP and then later Rails. And then I was doing Macintosh development on the side. Mac development on the side turned into Mac development full time as I kind of built some products and was selling some software full time. Then did a couple other startups that did not work out, but were still learning experiences. Then I started doing a lot of iPhone software because the iPhone market had just blown up. And I had a history of Mac development, so that kind of led me to quickly learn iPhone software. And that's what I did pretty much the last, 8 years or so before my current, recent chapter, which basically is I knew I kind of wanted to start to exit out of the iPhone space. And so I took a summer where I kind of sampled a lot of different technologies and came to discover Elixir and Phoenix and a couple other Elixir libraries. Um, and I really enjoyed them. And I started working with them first kind of as a hobby. And now, even as a consultant, I actually have a couple consulting projects where I'm using Elixir. And and so the long term goal is to kind of do more web development, both as a consultant and a product developer, product, developer, creator. Um, and so that brings us to this project, which is currently titled Clubhouse Hosting. And I myself have been a big proponent of meetups as an individual and an organizer. So I attended lots of different meetups, and have even helped run the local chapter of Philly Cocoa Heads, which is like a Mac iOS group. And I ran that for I don't know, probably like 6 or 7 years. And I I was thinking of a lot of different products I wanted to build, and I felt like this was a space that could use more alternatives. At the time, and even currently today, Meetup.com is like the leader in the space, with probably Facebook events being a second one. And both of those platforms are very organizer hostile in many ways. Um, and so I wanted to build something that was a little bit more, friendly, something that would, help organizers own their own data and run the site at their own domain. I'm a big fan of like the indie web movement, which encourages that kind of own your own data, ideal. And so, giving people the ability to not be in a prison silo on a specific platform, but something where they can use a tool, and then if they find another tool, they can move along and use that other tool. So with my new interest in Elixir, as well as this product idea, a couple months ago, I started working on it. First, just with just a lot of rough sketches and notes, and then later starting to work into some basic prototyping, and at the same time learning Elixir and how that works. But it's coming along fairly well. We're kind of at the moment now where the current plan is to do kind of a beta in November and then a release in January. Um, and it's going to be pretty basic on day one. The core business models are basically person can come in, they can create a group, they can join that group as the first member, which then makes them the owner of the group, and then from there, people can and be fill out a form to join the group, and then that invite request can be either accepted or declined. Um, Events can be created and are listed on the websites as well as like a iCal feed, and that's probably going to be it on the very first day. And then slowly but surely we'll add in some of the things that obviously people are going. I feel like people are going to ask for, which is like the ability to RSVP to events, and then with the different types of like email communication and things of that. But it's one of those cases where I want to get the beta running and get a couple groups using it, and then let their feedback dictate the future features. I have a lot of ideas of where I would like to see it go, but I want to make sure the product is kind of vetted before like I spend months and months and months building out these very complex features before realizing that nobody ever wanted them. So yeah, so I mean that's kind of been the thing, and I've been talking about the project a little bit. I started publishing some blogs promoting the project back in September. And the big kind of event that happened this last week was Meetup.com kind of released, although they didn't really publicize the release that much, a page on their website talking about some pricing changes. And this comes back to the fact that like they were purchased by a company called WeWork, and to me, ever since they've been purchased by WeWork, it's a red flag that the product itself is kind of in danger. It's kind of been stagnant for a couple of years, and even though it has such huge market share, it's not really evolving that much. And so I felt like I wanted to make sure that when it eventually did, had a big problem, that I'd be ready for it. Unfortunately, with this pricing change, like I'm not released yet, but I'm not too worried because I feel like my big goal is that as people leave Meetup.com, they kind of spread across lots of different products, and we don't all end up on the same host again. Um, and hopefully that will encourage a lot more competition in the space. The only real challenge there becomes discovery, which is actually the one thing Meetup was really good at, was that when you were in a town and you wanted to look for a group that, was about programming or was about something more social like board games or something, you could find a Meetup like that way. And having them all dispersed makes discovery a little bit harder. And even there, my hope is that we'll have a couple like open source indexes kind of pop up that kind of help organize things. And I have some ideas around that I'll share maybe later. But so the meetup event happened. I mean, it's encouraged me to keep. It's definitely lit a little fire under my ass to get things moving, because I am balancing my development of Clubhouse with my own consulting efforts to kind of pay the bills, and so this is like a bootstrap project, and um, yeah, so it's definitely given me a little bit of fire, but at the same time, it's going to be it's going to be a slow game, and there's nothing I can really do to prevent that. I think that's just part of the nature of it. So, um, anyway, I think that's all I'm going to have for today. In the next episode, I'll probably try to show you some of the sketches that I have and some of the UI mockups, and kind of give you a feel for the type of app that I'm trying to build. And then, yeah, and hopefully towards as we get to closer to November, we'll do some walkthroughs of the beta and show you how all that works. So the general plan is to do these once a week. So keep an eye on this. I'm going to post this to my personal blog because this is kind of more about the development side than the actual product side. But if you're interested in that, you can definitely subscribe to my personal RSS feed. And if you're interested in Clubhouse hosting, you can definitely sign up to the newsletter at clubhouse.com/. meetup.host, and you'll get informed about updates via that. So thanks for watching. If you guys have any questions or feedback, I'd love to hear it. Would be happy to address questions here on the diary, Dev Diary. And yeah, I don't know. That's all I have to say. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.